Jesus said to her, I am the resurrection and the life. Whoever believes in me, though he dies, yet shall he live. And everyone who lives and believes in me shall never die. Do you believe this? John 11:25 and 26. In Malawi, water is a matter of life or death. Not enough rain can lead to death. But in southern Malawi, too much rain can lead to death as well. This is exactly what happened in southern Malawi beginning in December of 2014. Heavy rains affected Malawi, causing rivers to overflow, floods, deaths, and damage, especially in the southern districts Asanje, Chikwawa, and Flalumba. More than 275 people lost their lives, and approximately 230,000 people were displaced. Crops of maize were destroyed, villages obliterated, houses swept away, and livestock killed. But even in the midst of this natural disaster, Jesus was bringing life. Pastor Davidson Harrison is one of those who was affected by the flooding.
It was devastating. We were in our home in the morning when the waters began to come in. Suddenly they started flowing very fast. In an instant, everything was washed away. I clung to my wife and children until the canoes arrived. They rescued us and took us to safety.
Pastor Harrison and his family were taken to a nearby village where they would wait for the waters to recede before they could return home. In fact, all of the more than 500 people who lived in his village would be relocated because of the flood. But life in the flood camps was not easy.
Life in the camp was very difficult. It was very crowded and there was not enough shelter for everyone, so some were under shelter and others were outside. The government brought food, but they were very slow in doing so. We were there for a few weeks before enough food arrived. It was also unclean, and there was much disease in the camps.
After more than a month in the camp, Pastor Harrison was able to return home. What he found, though, was total devastation.
We lost everything. Our home and the church. I built both of them out of the bricks that I had made, and they were both totally destroyed. I escaped with only my family and our lives, but I'm very grateful for that.
In the time since, Pastor Harrison has begun to rebuild his home and his life. But even in this kind of devastation, Jesus was bringing life through the gospel. The flood camps that were set up allowed pastors to preach and to share the gospel with others who likely would not have heard the message. The government even facilitated the showing of the Jesus film in some of the camps, allowing hundreds of people to learn the story of Jesus. Many people heard the gospel because of the terrible floods, showing Jesus is indeed the resurrection, bringing life from death.